So I'm going to start a presentation with something that, as aspiring GRC analysts, we probably all already know, but it's one of the most important parts within information security, and it's the CIA triad. So what is the CIA triad? Well, the CIA triad is core to protecting information. All three sections of the triad need to work together to be successful in protecting organizations and their information and data. Everything we do in cybersecurity has to relate to the CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So digging into it a little bit deeper then, confidentiality involves protecting information from unauthorized access or disclosure. It ensures that sensitive data is accessible only to authorized individuals, and measures such as access controls, encryption, and data classification are implemented to maintain that confidentiality. Integrity ensures the accuracy, completeness, and trustworthiness of information and systems. It involves safeguarding data from unauthorized modification, tampering, and corruption. And controls such as data validation, hashing, and digital signatures are used to verify the integrity of information. And lastly, availability refers to the accessibility and usability of information and systems when needed. It ensures that authorized users can access resources and services without disruption. Measures like backup systems, redundancy, and disaster recovery planning are implemented to ensure the availability of critical functions. These three principles form the basis of a comprehensive approach to information security, aiming to protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of sensitive data and systems. So in Gerald Auger's GRC Masterclass, we had a slight introduction into the NIST CSF framework. So how does this NIST CSF help with the CIA triad, and specifically within the GRC sector of information security? Well, the NIST CSF has 5 core pillars, and they are identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Now, detect, respond, and recover are classed as what's right of boom, or after the cybersecurity incident has taken place. And identify and protect are left of boom. And they're the 2 pillars which come under the remit of the GRC analyst. And this is achieved through operational and administrative work. And it's essentially just trying to limit the vulnerabilities or the bad stuff from happening. The CIA triad is a fundamental concept within information security, and the NIST CSF offers a comprehensive and structured approach to managing those cybersecurity risks. Okay, so within the GRC Masterclass, there were 5 key terms that were brought up that are consistently used within the cybersecurity field. So we've got vulnerability as the first one, which is a weakness that could be in a person, process, or a technology. You've got an exploit, which is an attack on one of those vulnerabilities. You've got a risk. Now, a risk is the likelihood or chance and the potential extent of damage of one of those exploited vulnerabilities. You've got an incident, which is an actively exploited vulnerability. And then lastly, you've got malware, which are 2 words combined. It's malicious software shortened into malware. And malicious software just refers to software with payloads contained within, such as Trojans and worms. These are real keywords that you need to keep strong, because I've definitely been asked questions about some of these keywords in interviews as well. So it's something that we do need to keep up here. Okay, so what is the actual role of a GRC analyst? So the GRC analyst roles are as follows. You've got compliance and audit, which is ensuring compliance with relevant laws, regulations, and industry standards, conducting compliance assessments and audits to identify areas of non-compliance, developing and implementing compliance programs, policies, and procedures, monitoring and reporting on compliance status, and recommending corrective actions. You've then got security awareness, and GRC analysts can assist in organising security training programs and awareness campaigns. They can develop educational materials, conduct workshops, or deliver presentations to help employees understand security best practices, potential risks, and their role in maintaining a secure environment. You've got assess risk, in which a GRC analyst will assess risk, helping to identify, evaluate, and prioritise potential risks to an organisation's assets, operations, and objectives. And then lastly, a GRC analyst will instill governance across the organisation. And this is done by understanding standards and law relevant to the business and ensuring compliance through effective policy and procedure creation. Essentially, a GRC analyst speaks security for the business. Okay, so I'm only going to go very basic on transmission control protocol, or TCP, and internet protocol, IP. And these explanations cover the understanding of what a GRC analyst should know as a minimum when it comes to TCP IP. Essentially, a GRC analyst doesn't need to come from a huge technical background, so this is just like an insight essentially into the basics of what you should know as a GRC analyst. So an IP address is a unique identifier which is identified to each device connected to a network, and it serves as a way of identifying and locating devices within a network or the internet. An IPv4 address uses 4 octets ranging from 0 to 255, such as a typical home network address of 192.168.0.1. IPv6 has been introduced due to technically running out of the IPv4 addresses, and an IPv6 address is represented as 8 groups of 4 hexadecimal digits separated by colons. This provides the potential for trillions of unique addresses, which overcomes the issue of availability with the IPv4 addresses. Now, whenever you attempt to visit a website, google.co.uk for example, your modem will connect to a domain name service to convert the text address of google.co.uk to its system's IP address. In the case of Google, that's 172.253.122.94. The DNS server is like a phone book, if you like. Essentially, you will put in that web address, the text address that the end user, you and I, will understand, and then the DNS will look for that address within its phone book, and it will get its the relevant IP address for that domain name, hence domain name service. Now, networks communicate via the IP addresses and ports, and a port signifies what service you're attempting to use or reach. In the case of HTTPS, secure web browsing, the port is 443. Therefore, after retrieving the IP address from the DNS, your computer will be attempting to connect to 172.253.122.94 on port 443. But all you will see as the end user is google.co.uk. Within the TCP, IP and OSI models, the GRC focus is within the transport layer and the network and internet layer. So on the ASI model, it's the network layer, and on the TCP IP model, it's the internet layer. So the whole point of cybersecurity is to reduce risks from threats. And threats come in 3 forms. They arise from natural disasters, environmental threats, or human threats, and I've listed a few examples of those there on the screen for you. Now, human threats account for around 80% of all cybersecurity threats. So the biggest weakness in cybersecurity really is the human, or the end user, but the human can also be the biggest strength too. A GRC analyst works hard to ensure compliance with standards and law, and this helps to ensure everyone's training and awareness of the latest threats are up to date. A GRC analyst is also heavily involved with the collaboration and information sharing, helping to combat those cybersecurity risks. The support of the GRC analyst, along with the threat detection, incident response and mitigation efforts, and ethical hacking or red teaming, etc., all play key roles in how humans are also the strength within cybersecurity. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching. If I have had to dash off of the stream because of the hospital appointment, please do put any questions that you've got on Microsoft Teams and I'll get back to you on there with them. Otherwise, hopefully I'll still be on the stream and I can answer them live for you. Thank you very much for watching.